जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहार जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवर धरी गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवर धारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधे
जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा राधे
जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे
जय राधे राधे जय श्री राधे
जय वृंदावन धाम वृंदावन धाम वृंदावन धाम जय कृष्ण बलराम
जय वृंदावन धाम वृंदावन धाम वृंदावन धाम जय कृष्ण बलराम
जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग
जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरांग निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की अंतरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Text 11. Shashtam atrehe apatyatvam. Shashtam atrerapatyatvam. Vritaha praptaha anasuya. Vritha prapto anasuyaya. Anvivikshim alarkya. Anvikshikim alarkaya. Anvikshikim alarkaya. Prahalada adibhyaha uchivan. Prahaladadibhya uchivan. Shashtam atrerapatyatvam. Vritaha prapta anasuyaya. Anvikshikim alarkaya. Prahaladadibhya uchivan. Shashtam atrerapatyatvam. Vrita prapto anasuyaya. Anvikshikim alarkaya. Prahaladadibhya uchivan. Shashtam atrerapatyatvam. Vrita prapto nusuyaya. Anvikshikim alarkaya. Prahaladadibhya uchivan. Shashtam atrerapatyatvam. Vrita prapto nusuyaya. Anvikshikim alarkaya. Prahaladadibhya uchivan. Shashtam atrerapatyatvam. Vrita prapto nusuyaya. Anvikshikim alarkaya. Prahaladadibhya uchivan. Synonyms. Shashtam, the sixth one. Atrehe, of Atri. Apatyatvam, sonship. Vritaha, being prayed for. Praptaha, obtained. Anasuyaya, by Anasuya. Anvikshikim, on the subject of transcendence. Alarkaya, unto Alarka. Prahalada adibhyaha, unto Prahalada and others. Uchivan, spoke. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The sixth incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anasuya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahalada and others, Yadu, Haihaya, etc. Please repeat the translation. The sixth incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anasuya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahalada and others, Yadu, Haihaya, etc. Purport. The Lord incarnated himself as Dattatreya, the son of Rishi Atri and Anasuya. The history of the birth of Dattatreya as an incarnation of the Lord is mentioned in the Brahmanda Purana in connection with the story of the devoted wife. It is said there that Anasuya, the wife of Rishi Atri, prayed before the Lords Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva as follows: My Lords, if you are pleased with me and if you desire me to ask from you some sort of blessings, then I pray that you combine together to become my son. This was accepted by the Lords, and as Dattatreya, the Lord expounded the philosophy of the spirit soul and especially instructed Alarka, Prahlada, Yadu, Haihaya, etc. Since the Bhaktivedanta purpose. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya O Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktaranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are reading this third chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in which different Leela avatars are the incarnations of Lord for various purposes, how Lord is appearing in various forms. So earlier classes we were mentioned different incarnations. Like first in the beginning of the creation, Brahma was created, then Kumaras, then Bor or Varaha, then Lord appeared as Naranarayan Rishi, Narad Rishi, then he appeared as Naranarayan Rishi, then Lord appeared as Lord Kapila, and in this verse we are reading about the incarnation who is known as Dattatreya, the son of Atri and Anasuya. So in Bhagavad Gita we all know Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. So the birth and activities of the Lord is transcendental, and one who knows the truth of the truth in the sense is its mystery, why the Lord appears or how the Lord appears. So one who knows that truth can go easily back home, back to Godhead. So that's the purpose of the appearance of the Lord. Apart from performing Leela, even after the time like Dattatreya had appeared long before, many ages have passed, but still we are reading about Dattatreya. Why? Because by hearing about these incarnations, how they appeared, why they appeared, and what activities they performed while they were present in this material world, one can purify one's consciousness and thereby go back home, back to Godhead. So that's the purpose of reading all these incarnations. So it is not like a material activity which happens one time, and if you are there you may get some benefit, and if you are not there you may talk about it, but there is no benefit out of it. It's not like that. Here, even if we may not, we were definitely present, but we may not be aware when Lord Dattatreya appeared. But now we are, after many years or many ages, we are reading. So that benefit which the devotees or the people in general got when Lord Dattatreya appeared, the same benefit we can also get now by hearing or reading and understanding about the or following the instructions of Lord Dattatreya. So therefore it is transcendental. It is not bound by time. If it is not bound by any material barriers like time or space. Okay, so Lord appeared some long time ago. How do Lord Dattatreya know that if I follow his instruction? So how will the Lord be pleased? So coming back to this is a very wonderful story of how Lord Dattatreya appeared. It is very briefly here it is mentioned. So more details are there in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll just read some of those things. And also before reading this, we should also understand that Atri and Anasuya, they were so great devotees that they could invite the Lord to become their son. It's not small thing. We should understand. We are all trying our best to have darshan of the Lord. But here, these devotees, they are so well in their devotional service, they are able to call the Lord to become their son, become their child. It's not small thing. So we should understand who are these Atri and Anasuya, and also we should also understand how they invited the Lord, what austerities or what did they do that Lord became so much attracted and the Lord agreed to become their son. So there are many things. Okay. So first of all, who is this Anasuya is daughter of Kardama and Devahuti. So in the first millennium, that is Swayambhuva Manu had 3 daughters and 2 sons. So Devahuti, Akuti and Prasuti. So Devahuti was married to a sage known as Kardama Muni. And they had 9 daughters and 1 son. The son is Kapila Muni and there are 9 daughters. So one of the daughters is, a daughter name is Anasuya, and Anasuya was married to Atri Rishi, who is one of the Sapta Rishis. So every millennium there are Sapta Rishis, like there is Indra, then there is other planets who will be ruled by various personalities. So another important role in the universe is Sapta Rishis, who give the transcendental knowledge and also the material knowledge to the whole world. So one of those 7 rishis is this Atri. So very high position, and they were requested to increase the progeny. So they underwent severe tapasya before creating any progeny. So when Lord Brahma ordered Atri Muni to create generation after marrying Anasuya, Atri Muni and his wife went to perform severe austerities in the valley of mountain known as Riksha. I don't know whether it is explaining about a place on earth or some other planet. So Riksha, we have not heard of this, or at least I have not heard. In that mountain called Riksha, mountain valley, flows a river named Nirvindya. Okay, so this is the place they were staying. On the bank of the river are many Ashoka trees and other plants full of palasha flowers, and there is always sweet sound of water flowing from waterfall. The husband and wife reached that beautiful place. So to perform any activity, we need a place, right? So Krishna also tells that any activity can be accomplished by place of activity where we perform also matters. So therefore, Prabhupada opened this Krishna consciousness centers, ISKCONs. Why? Because one who wants to become a devotee, they need a place where people of same mentality can come together and perform a common activity of performing devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. There the great sage concentrated his mind by yogic breathing exercise and thereby controlling all attachment. He remained steadfast on one leg only, eating nothing but air, and stood there on one leg for 100 years. So here it is talking about the austerities of Atri Muni. So previously in other Purana, Brahmanda Purana, the austerities of Anasuya also is mentioned. She was also considered she's also considered a sati, or a chaste wife. Because of her satitva, she was also a great lady who had made Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva as small babies. Right? So that's the power of her austerity. So anyway, so here we are seeing that Atri Muni also is not less. So he is standing on one leg, eating nothing but air. That means he is simply breathing and standing on one leg for how long? For 100 years. Again, we don't know whether it is human 100 years or demigod 100 years. So again, if we take even as human 100 years also, it's a long time standing on one leg. And he was thinking, so this is important part, he was thinking, may the Lord of the universe, Jagadishwara, of whom I have taken shelter, kindly be pleased to offer me a son exactly like him. So Brahma told, you increase the progeny. And now he is performing austerities to purify himself and to beget good progeny. Now he is thinking of the Lord known as Jagadishwara, Lord of the universe. Jagat means universe, or master of the universe, or Lord of the universe. So in purport, Prabhupada explains very important thing. It appears that great sage Atri Muni had no specific idea of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because sometimes in the Upanishads and Vedas it is mentioned, Yatova imani bhutani jayante. It is the Lord from whom everything has emanated. It is mentioned, Lord, there is a Lord from whom everything has emanated. The exact name is not given. So he understands that there is a Lord. Universe is there, that means we can see the universe around us, right? So universe is there, that means there must be a Lord. Just like if we see a house, it does not come about on its own. Somebody must have built it, right? So that means there must be some Lord. So he understands that this universe exists and there must be some Lord. So he is calling for that Lord of the universe, not some ordinary person to become his child. So of course he must have conversant with the Vedic information that there is Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the creator of the universe and from whom everything emanated, and who maintains this created manifestation, and in whom the entire manifestation is conserved after dissolution. So by the study of the Vedas we can understand, or even by our common sense, so everything has beginning, maintenance and end. So the whole universe also has beginning, maintenance and end. And there must be somebody who must have created this universe, somebody who has created, who is maintaining, and at the end who will dissolute or destruct the universe. So the Vedic mantras give us the information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Atri Muni concentrated his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even without knowing his name, just to beg from him a child exactly on his level. So he wanted a son exactly like the Lord. Atma Samam means exactly like the Lord, not Lord, exactly like the Lord. This kind of devotional service in which the knowledge of God's name is lacking is also described in Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord says that 4 kinds of men with backgrounds of pious activities come to him. So we all know Artho, Arthati, Jignasu. So these are the 4 people who come to the Lord. And Atri Muni wanted a son exactly like the Lord, and therefore he is not supposed to have been a pure devotee. Even though he is calling for the Lord of the universe, he is not considered a pure devotee. Why? Because he had a desire to be fulfilled. I want a son like the Lord, and that son should appear in this material world to me. It appears it is complete devotional service, but it is not. It is a desire filled with, or it is tinged with material desire. Okay. Therefore, he is not supposed to have been a pure devotee, because he had a desire to be fulfilled, and that desire was material. Although he wanted his son exactly like Supreme Personality of Godhead, that desire was material, because he did not want the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He did not want the Lord himself. He wanted a son like the Lord. That means a reflection of the Lord, or partial incarnation of the Lord. So, but only a child exactly like him. If he had desired the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his child, he would have been completely free from material desires, because he would have wanted the Supreme Absolute Truth. But because he wanted a similar child, his desire was material. Thus, Atri Muni cannot be counted among the pure devotees. Just like Devaki and Vasudeva, we count them as pure devotees. Why? Because they wanted Lord as their son. Here, Atri Muni, somebody like Lord. There is a difference. Somebody like Lord and the Lord himself. Okay. So, therefore, whereas Devaki and Vasudeva, they clearly meditated upon the Supreme Lord as Vishnu, and Lord appeared as their son 3 times, as Prishnigarbha, and as Vamana, and as finally as Krishna. So that's the difference. So we have to understand why Bhagavatam is bringing about all these things is, we also desire something to the Lord, sometimes do devotional service. So exactly whether, so our understanding has to be so fine that we are desiring only the Lord and nothing but the Lord, not even a son like Lord. Okay. And while Atri Muni was engaged in these severe austerities, a blazing fire came out of his head by virtue of his breathing exercise, and that fire was seen by the 3 principal deities of the three worlds. So because of his austerity, they generally, if we don't eat or don't drink water, our body becomes hot, and he is not eating for 100 years, only breathing air. So his body, because of the tapasya, it became hot, and fire started emanating from his body. So this fire was observed by the whole universe, and especially the 3 principal deities of the world. Okay. So, and Lord, how the Lord came to know? Because Lord is seated in our heart as Paramatma. So Paramatma came to know, that is Vasudeva. Right there. So according to Jiva Goswami, the fire of pranayama is mental satisfaction. The fire was perceived by the super soul Vishnu, and thereby Lord Brahma and Shiva also perceived it. So it is also mentioned in the Vedas, Upanishad, which one is that? Isha Upanishad. We can't see anything unless the Lord sees it first. Even in Bhagavatam it is mentioned. So Vishnu sees it as Paramatma, and Vishnu allows us, or the living entities, also see it. So first the Lord perceived it, then Lord, by the direction of Vasudeva, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva also perceived. So it is not only Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, even we may see, I am seeing, but unless the Lord see, we cannot see it. Okay, that's the big science. It is mentioned in the 2nd canto of the Bhagavatam. Okay, so Lord Vishnu perceived it, and so because of Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva also perceived it, and so they all 3 of them came to the hermitage or the house of Atri Muni. At that time, the 3 deities approached the hermitage of Atri Muni, accompanied by the denizens of heavenly planets, such as the celestial beauties, who are the Apsaras, Munis, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, then Nagas, like this. So Lord Prabhupada many times he mentions that whenever the Lord comes, Lord never comes alone, he comes with his entourage. So Lord as the principal deity of the universe, so that means he is lording over the people of the universe, and especially the refined entities who can perceive the Lord or Lord's movement. When they see that the Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are coming, so they also wanted to see where the Lord is going, what the Lord will do. So they also accompanied. So practically one person is sitting and doing tapasya in his house or in his hermitage, and we see that Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, everybody is coming. Along with that, all the devatas are coming. So we should understand how the severe austerities they are doing, and yet they are not pure devotees. Okay. It is advised in the Vedic literatures that one should take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Lord of the universe and the Master of creation, maintenance and dissolution. He is known as the Super Soul. And when one worships the Super Soul, all other deities such as Brahma, Shiva appear with Lord Vishnu because they are directed by the Super Soul. So therefore it is also mentioned that one who worships the Lord, Krishna or Vishnu, need not worship any other demigod. Right? So the sage was standing on one leg. So 100 years he is standing. But as soon as he saw that three deities had appeared before him, he was so pleased to see them all together that despite great difficulty he approached them on one leg. Because if you stand on one leg, it will get paralyzed or you can't move. So he could not move. So practically he is walking with one leg. So he saw that all the lords have come, all the denizens of heaven have come. So he wanted to go and approach the Lord, but he could not go hurriedly because he was walking on one leg. Thereafter he began to offer prayers to three deities who were seated on different carriers. Now how do you know that this is Brahma, this is Shiva and this is Vishnu? Because Vedas and the Puranas mention how the Lord appear. Like Shiva appears, Shiva travels on a carrier known as bull, Rishabha, right? And he carries Damaru. And then Brahma, he travels on swan, Hamsa, and he carries Kamandalu, Kushagras and Japamala, like that. And then Lord Vishnu travels on Garuda with Chaturbhuja Narayana, who has Shankha Chakra, Gada and Padma. Right? So Atri Muni saw that seated on different carriers, a bull, a swan and a Garuda, and who held in their hands Kushagras, drum and a discus. The sage offered them his respects by falling down like a stick. So he offered his obeisances by falling like a stick, which is, we also do, which is known as Dandavat Pranam. Okay. So like this he saw the three lords. Then Atri Muni was greatly pleased to see that the three devas were gracious towards him. It's not that he did not know that Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu are present, are there in the universe. But he wanted to know who is the Lord of the universe, because he meditated upon the Lord of the universe. Just like a house is built and three people are known as the Lord or the owner of that house. Three people it cannot be, there must be one person only, right, who must have built. Or sometime, so he wanted to know who exactly is the Supreme Lord. So Atri Muni was greatly pleased to see the three devas were gracious toward him. His eyes were dazzled by the effulgence of their bodies. So he could see that all three lords were smiling. That means they were happy to see him. There are sometimes the Lord may not be happy to see us if we do something wrong. But here Atri Muni saw that lords were happy to see him, and then there was a great effulgence coming from their body, therefore he could not see them. So he had to close his eyes. And after some time he gathered courage to open his eyes and to see the three lords. Then he spoke to the three deities as follows. O Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, you have divided yourself into three bodies by accepting the three modes of material nature. So he is saying that this material world has to be maintained, and this world is maintained by the three modes. And these three modes are governed by the three deities, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Actually, it's also mentioned. We can see this material world in various ways. One is that there are 24 elements in this material world, and we can see this material world is managed by three modes, right? Any living entity or any object, if you see, you can see that it is in Sattva Guna or Rajoguna or Tamoguna. So in this way also, if we see that if we are seeing this material world as composed of three gunas, then these three gunas are governed by three deities, who are Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So Atri Muni is saying this material world is made of three modes, and you are the governing bodies, or you are the governing demigods of these three modes, as you do in every millennium for creation, maintenance and dissolution of cosmic manifestation. So for creation, maintenance and dissolution, three modes are required. Rajoguna for creation, which is governed by Lord Brahma, and then maintenance is done by Sattva-guna, which is governed by Lord Vishnu, and dissolution is done by the mode of Tamo-guna, and that is governed by Lord Shiva. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all of you and beg you to inquire whom of you three I have called by my prayer. He himself is confused. I called for Jagadishvara, Lord of the universe. Now three of you have come. He is not asking the other demigods because he knows that Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva are the primary deities of the universe. So, but among three of you, who is the Supreme Lord? So, this question sometimes we are also asked, who is great, Shiva or Krishna or Vishnu, like that, right? So he is also asking, who among you is the Lord? Atri Rishi called for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Jagadishvara, the Lord of the universe. The Lord must exist before the creation, otherwise how could he be its Lord? So now what we are seeing is the manifested universe. And once it is manifested, it is difficult to understand who created it, or by whose potency this is created. So this is a natural question, how the existence came about. So Atri Muni is also asking, who made it? So Prabhupada is giving a simple example but for us to understand that if somebody constructs a big building, this indicates that he must have existed before the building was constructed. If I construct a house or a building, that means my presence was there before the building, right? So that means the Lord of the universe must be there or existing before the creation of the universe. Who is that Lord? So he is asking. Therefore the Supreme Lord, the creator of the universe, must be transcendental to the material modes of nature. Even though Lord Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are governing or managing the three modes, the creator of the universe must be above three modes. Because where is three modes? Three modes is in the material world or the material universe. So the Lord must be above these three modes. So who is that? Okay. But it is known that Vishnu takes charge of the mode of goodness, Brahma takes charge of passion, and Shiva takes the charge of ignorance. Therefore Atri Muni said that Jagadishvara, the Lord of the universe, must be one of you. But since three of you have appeared, I cannot recognize whom I have called. You are all so kind. Please let me know who is actually Jagadishvara, the Lord of the universe. In fact, Atri Rishi was doubtful about the constitutional position of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. But he was quite certain that the Lord of the universe cannot be one of the creatures created by Maya. Okay. His very inquiry about whom he had called indicates that he was in doubt about the constitutional position of the Lord. Therefore, he prayed to all the deities, kindly let me know who is the transcendental Lord of the universe. So these three are the Lord of the universe. He is asking who is the transcendental Lord of the universe. Just like a house is created or a building is created, I may be maintaining it or I may be doing this. But who is the transcendental Lord, who is, because of whose desire this is created? Kindly let me know who is the transcendental Lord of the universe. He was certain, of course, that not all of them could be the Lord, but the Lord of the universe was one of the three. I called for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, desiring a son like him, and I thought of him only. But although he is far beyond the mental speculation of man, all three of you have come here. Kindly let me know how you have come, for I am greatly bewildered about this. Because I called for one, but three of you have come. How is it possible? That I was calling for one Lord, because Eko Brahma Dvitiya Nasti, there is one Lord only. So three have come. So then the great sage Maitreya continued, upon hearing Atri speak in this way, the three great deities smiled and they replied in the following sweet words. What is that? The three deities told Atri Muni, dear Brahmana, You are perfect in your determination. Therefore, as you have decided, so it will happen. What was the determination of the Atri Muni? That Lord of the universe should appear as my, or a son who is like Lord of the universe should appear in my home. So it will not happen otherwise. We are all the same person upon whom you were meditating. Therefore, we have all come to you. So this is confusing. The three lords are telling, we are the same person whom you have meditated. So he is saying, I meditated upon one, and the Lord is saying, no, you meditated upon all three of us, therefore all three of us have come. And the Vedas say, Eko Brahma, and here we are seeing three Brahmans, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So let us understand. Atri Muni unspecifically thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is specifically thinking of the Lord of the universe, unspecifically Lord of the universe, right? So the Lord of the universe, although he had no clear idea of the Lord of the universe, nor of his specific form. Now who is the Lord? I don't know. I understand that there is Lord. Then who is that Lord? Prabhupada is clarifying that Mahavishnu, from whose breathing millions of universe emanate and into whom they are again withdrawn, may be accepted as the Lord of the universe. So who is the Lord of the universe? There, Prabhupada first he is explaining, and it is explained in the previous verses of this chapter only, that there is a Lord who is known as Mahavishnu, or Karanodakashayi Vishnu, who in the spiritual world he sleeps on the Karana ocean, and from whom all the material universe is emanating. So he is the Lord of the universe. Right? Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, from whose abdomen sprouted the lotus flower, which is the birthplace of Brahma, may also be considered the Lord of the universe. So there is another Lord who is known as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. So from the breathing of Mahavishnu, small universes come and then they expand into big universe. In that universe, in each Brahmanda, there is again Mahavishnu who enters as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and that Lord can also be considered as the Lord of that universe. So one universe inside, the Lord has appeared as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and he sleeps on the Garbhodaka Jala. Half the universe is filled with the water known as Garbhodaka Jala, and on that water the Lord sleeps, and he is known as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and from his lotus, in his navel, lotus appears, and that in the stem there are 14 planetary systems. So we are in the 7th planetary system, which is known as Bhuloka. So above us there is 6 planetary system, below us, below the earthly planet there are 7 planetary system, and below that there is hell. So like this there are 14 planetary system, and above the 14 planetary system is the residence of Brahma. So that Lord can be also considered as the Lord of the universe, right? And similarly, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, who is the super soul of all living entities, may also be considered as Lord of the universe. Similarly, Lord, same Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, to enter into each living entity, to maintain each living entity, each atom of the universe, he himself expands into Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, who is spread in all the living entities as the super soul. So he may also be considered the Lord of the universe. Okay. So Vishnu is the Lord of the universe because he is the maintainer. Similarly, Brahma creates the different planetary systems and the population. So actually, who is creating all the different planetary system? This kind of living entity should be here, this kind of living entity should be in this earthly planet, another kind of living entity should be in the lower planets. Who is creating all these things, divisions, and the population is increased by Brahma. So therefore he is known as Prajapati, right? So Prajapati means he is the Lord of the all Prajas. That means Lord of the all Prajas are he. Therefore Brahma can also be considered as Lord of the universe. So similarly, Brahma creates the different planetary system and the population. So he also may be considered the Lord of the universe. Or Lord Shiva who is ultimately the destroyer of the universe, also may be considered its Lord. Therefore, since Atri Muni did not specifically mention whom he wanted, all three, Brahma, Vishnu and Lord Shiva, came before him. They said, since you are thinking of having a son exactly like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of the universe, your determination will be fulfilled. In other words, one's determination is fulfilled according to the strength of one's devotion. We all have desires, some material desires, some spiritual desires. So how it is fulfilled? Like we all wanted to go back to Godhead, right? But it is the desire has to be fulfilled. We have a desire, right? At least some of us, or many of us, or all of us have a desire to go back home, back to Godhead. Now here Prabhupada is saying, our Atri Muni who had a desire that he wanted a son exactly like the Lord of the universe. So that is fulfilled according to the strength of one's devotion. So what is the strength? So so as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Yanti Deva Vrata Devan Pitrinyanti Pritrvrataha. So if you worship Devatas, you can go to the planet of the Devatas. If you worship Pitrus, you can go to the planet of Pitrus. Similarly, if one worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, he can go to the abode of Krishna. Now here, unspecifically he is thinking about the Lord of the universe. So there are many lords, right? So Prabhupada also mentioned, Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna. There are many Ishvaras, but Parama Ishvara is Krishna. So if you are thinking of some Lord of what? Lord of earth. So our Lord of heaven is Indra. Our Lord of the universe, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, all of them are Lord of the universe. So all three of them appeared and they said, because you called for the Lord without specifically naming that I want Lord Vishnu or Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma. You are simply calling the Lord. So all three of us are the Lords. So now we have appeared before you and we will also appear as your sons. So now according to the strength of his determination for a son, his desire would be fulfilled by the grace of the Lord. Atri Muni had no clear conception of the Lord of the universe. Therefore, the three presiding deities who are actually the lords of the universe in the three departments of the modes of nature all came before him. So this is how they came. So you will have sons who will represent a partial manifestation of our potency. Because we desire all good fortune for you, those sons will glorify your reputation throughout the world. So the partial manifestation is called Amsha Bhutas. Amsha. So it is not the Lord himself, Lord's Amsha will appear. So thus while the couple looked on, the three deities Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara disappeared from that place after bestowing upon Atri Muni the benediction. So thereafter, from the partial representation of Brahma, the moon god was born, and from the partial representation of Vishnu, the great mystic Dattatreya was born, and from partial representation of Shankara, Lord Shiva, Durvasa was born. Now, so this is the pastime of how the Lord appeared as Dattatreya. So, because his father Atri Muni had desired that Lord of the universe may appear. So, therefore, it is this pastime also reflects that Lord has a name. It is not some non-naming entity that somebody is there. It's not somebody. It is Lord exactly has a name. And if we don't call, so all the three deities have appeared. So now sometimes we are also asked this question, now who among Lord Vishnu, Shiva and Brahma, who is the supreme? Right? That question is not answered here. So we say Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and somebody will come forward and say, because you are Vaishnavas, so you read Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. In that it is mentioned that the Krishna or Vishnu is the Supreme. So for Vaishnavas, Krishna is Supreme. And for Shaivas who read another literature which is Vedic literature only called Shiva Purana, in Shiva Purana it is mentioned that Shiva is supreme. And it is mentioned also. And there are some other sect who will come forward and say, no, there is Devi or Mother Durga. She is master of the universe, or rather, she is supreme to even Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. Like it is also mentioned in the Brahma Samhita that Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha. From one potency of whom let's not discuss, from one potency, Shakti, the three departments are maintained: Srishti, Sthiti, and Pralaya. So, Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga. So, that one Shakti has empowered three entities, Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, and they are maintaining creating, maintaining, and destroying the universe. So, there is one Shakti, and in Shiva Purana it is mentioned. So, before getting into who is supreme, or in this Purana it is mentioned like this, in that Purana it is mentioned like this, which is correct, which is not correct. Every literature, every Vedic literature is given by one person, that is Vedavyas. Okay. That means Vedavyas is confused, or Vedavyas is trying to please everyone. So he will write one literature for Shaivas. You take this, in this I have written like this. You Vaishnavas, you take another literature. Those who are worshippers of Devi, you take another. No, it is not like that. So it is one person only that we have to understand. So how can one person have contradiction? This is the question. Generally, we are, some people might have asked you also, if you go for book distribution, these kind of questions come about. That who is supreme, why you say only Krishna is supreme, it is mentioned, so you don't read. So that means, okay, Krishna is supreme for you, not for everyone, it is for you. So, and sometimes even the worshippers of Vishnu, they also come and they say that you say Krishna is supreme, no, Vishnu is supreme, Krishna is avatar of Vishnu, right? So something like that they also come forward. So who is supreme? So there are two aspects we have to understand. Is one thing is the author is same, that is Vedavyas, then why there is contradiction. So there are two aspects again we have to understand. One is rasa and one is tattva. One is tattva. Tattva or truth. What is the truth? We have to understand. Truth, if we go by Srimad Bhagavatam, why Bhagavatam was created? Because Vedavyas himself was not happy with his previous creations. Right? He himself was not happy with his previous creations of Vedas and the Mahabharata and other Puranas. So he was not happy. He himself is not satisfied. So what is the subject matter of other four Puranas? Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. So this is vaguely. Some Puranas may have more content of Dharma, some other literature may have more content of Moksha or Dharma, Artha or Kama. But more or less every literature contains these four subject matters. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. And yet he is not satisfied. So finally he himself is worried, why I am not happy? I am a proper follower of the Vedas. Not only that he has written, that he have written it is for you. He himself is the follower of the Vedas, yet he is not happy. So then Narada Muni comes and explains that if you have to be happy, then you have to write an exclusive literature which is about the devotional service to Lord Vishnu. So he explains this. Yet this is not the answer. Okay. One aspect we have to understand, each literature has a purpose. Each Purana has a purpose. Each literature. For example, let us take Bhagavad Gita. Why was Bhagavad Gita spoken? It is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita only. What is that? Second chapter, 7th sloka. What is the sloka? What is that? 2.7. Dharma Sammuda Cheta. Arjuna is saying that I have become bewildered about my duty. So he is asking, I have become bewildered about my duty. Yash Shreyasyam Nishchitam Bruhitan. Now you clearly tell me what should I do. This is the purpose for which, because of which Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Right? So, and after speaking all Bhagavad Gita, so what is the final instruction of Krishna? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami masuchaha. What is my dharma? And Krishna is telling, forget about all other dharmas. Follow moksha dharma. What is moksha dharma? Surrendering unto me, you will get liberation from all the sinful reaction, and thus you can go back home, back to Godhead. So the purpose of dharma is moksha. Right? So he is asking, what is that dharma I should follow? Krishna is telling, that dharma you should follow which will take you to moksha or liberation. And that liberation can happen if you surrender unto me. So this is the purpose from beginning unto end. And in between there are various ways, various paths of achieving moksha. There is karma yoga, dhyana yoga, then ashtanga yoga, then there is bhakti yoga, which way to follow, how to follow. So many things are explained. But ultimate, whether you follow karma yoga, dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga or bhakti yoga, again it is also mentioned which is easier, bhakti yoga is easier or impersonal worship is easier. All these things are mentioned. 3 modes are mentioned. How the material world is created with 24 elements is mentioned in the 13th chapter. So how to gain knowledge is also mentioned by going to a spiritual master who is already in knowledge. Right? So like this, so many things are mentioned. And about the divinity of the Lord is also mentioned. But mentioning all these things, what is the purpose? Purpose is that Arjuna should get who is entangled in the material world and who is performing worldly dharmas, should understand the real position of each dharma and come to the transcendental dharma, which is surrendering unto the Supreme Lord and acting according to his instruction. Right? So this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. So similarly, what is the purpose of Bhagavatam? So purpose of Bhagavatam was, it is mentioned that there are sages who are performing austerities in the place known as Naimisharanya, and they come across another great sage who is Suta Goswami, who has read all the Vedas, who has read all the Puranas. And then they are asking this one question. How to Atma Prasadini 1.1.9, if you want to see the exact shloka. What is the shloka mentioned? Right? Yes. So, how one's heart or one's self can completely be satisfied. How that one can get complete satisfaction. So that is mentioned, that is the question. And along with that there are 5 other questions also. Why Krishna appeared as the son of Devaki, and then Kali Yuga is full of faults, and then what is the essence of the Vedas. So these are the questions, everything is asked. And then how one can completely be satisfied, Atma Prasadini, that is explained in the 2nd chapter itself, that Munaya Yatkrita Krishna Samprashno Yenatma Suprasidati. If you ask questions about Krishna and get the answer about Krishna, then your heart will be completely satisfied. And also Savai Vamsa Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Radhokshashi Ahaituki Apratihata Yayatma Suprasidati. The heart or the person's soul can be completely be satisfied. The supreme action is by which a man can attain loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to be completely satisfy the self. How can one completely satisfy the self? So this is mentioned that How one can completely satisfy the self? By Bhakti Yoga. So this is the purpose, right? And in the 12th canto, at the end of 12th canto, last chapter, again it is mentioned. What is mentioned there? Here it is mentioned. The goal of this literature Bhagavatam, is exclusive devotional service unto the Supreme Absolute Truth. So this is the purpose. So Srimad Bhagavatam has a purpose of giving satisfaction, complete satisfaction to the soul or a self by performing devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Now, if this is the purpose with which if we are reading Bhagavatam, our approach will be different. But if we want to know who is supreme, Krishna is supreme, Vishnu is supreme, or Shiva is supreme, who is supreme? Similarly, even Shiva Purana, I was just reading a little bit, not full. So it is mentioned again. These sages of Naimisharanya, they are only asking question. In that Purana, question is not same. How to satisfy the self completely. There the question is, first they explain the vices of Kali Yuga, that Brahmanas, they don't perform their duty, right? So they have to, and similarly Kshatriyas don't perform their duty, Vaishyas don't perform their duty. Vaishyas are supposed to take care of cows, they are not taking care, and then Shudras also not performing their duties. So if you don't perform your duty, you will become sinful. Right? Arjuna was afraid of that sin only in Bhagavad Gita. If I don't perform my duty of Kshatriya duty, I will become sinful. But if I perform my duty of Kshatriya and kill my Guru, then again I will become sinful. So that is the bewilderment of Arjuna. So similarly, if we say I am Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra, whatever, and if I say I am son of such and such, and I don't follow my duty of a son, then I become sinful. Right? So they explained that all the Varnas, they are not following their duties, so they are becoming sinful. So how one can avoid becoming sinful and gain punya? This is the question asked by the sages of Naimisharanya, and in answer to that, Suta Goswami explained Shiva Purana. Okay. And of course in Shiva Purana it is explained that Shiva explains that I am supreme. There are in Shiva also there are Shiva, Rudra, then Mahesha, like different incarnations. So I did not read fully. So like this, so many things are mentioned in that. And in the end, so again go to end, and in the end also it is mentioned that by reading Shiva Purana, one's sinful reactions will be nullified, and one will get liberation. Liberation unto whom? To Shiva's abode one can go. Similarly, Devi Bhagavata, which is actually, we don't know whether it is one of the 18 Puranas, but still if you read also, again, in that also it is mentioned. The sages are asking, we want to hear something auspicious, please tell us. Okay, about Devi, let me explain, which is auspicious to hear. So, this is how it, so each literature has a question. Before that literature or Purana is spoken, there is a reason. I want to hear something auspicious. Okay, here Devi Purana. I want how one can get rid of sinful reaction. Okay, here Shiva Purana. How the heart or the soul can be completely satisfied. Here Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is a purpose and there is a phala also, right? So there is question and there is an answer also. So we have to understand before getting into this fight of who is supreme, I am supreme, Krishna is supreme, Shiva is supreme, ours is supreme. So every literature has a purpose. If we deviate from that purpose, and we have our own purpose, like Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining so that Arjuna becomes a devotee and completely surrenders unto Krishna and acts under the direction of Krishna. This is the purpose of Krishna explaining. But we can take one line or one verse or one chapter and explain our own purpose, like some politician of our country is explaining that Bhagavad Gita is meant to spread non-violence. The whole Bhagavad Gita is explained so that the violence will start immediately after Bhagavad Gita. So you see, so like this, there is a purpose of Krishna, there is a purpose of Arjuna. He is asking some question, I am bewildered about my duty, and Krishna is explaining the various duties. Finally, so that he can get out of all the material duties and perform transcendental duty, right? Transcendental dharma. There is purpose of the author, and there is a purpose of one who is reading has some other purpose. If we deviate from the purpose of the author, our understanding will be different. And again coming back, this is tattva. Then what is rasa? If we have to worship Krishna, you should know that Krishna is supreme. Sometimes the Lord, because Lord Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, if somebody has some devotion towards any demigod, that devotion is strengthened by the Lord. Now somebody has devotion towards Devi, somebody has devotion towards Ganesha, somebody has devotion towards Shiva, or Krishna himself, or Vishnu. So that Komala Shraddha has to be strengthened. Right? How that strength will come? Strength will come by hearing the glories of that deity, Krishna or Vishnu. So who is arranging this? Krishna is saying, I am arranging this. How is he arranging? Through Vyasadeva. Okay, you write a literature. And in some Manvantara, some like what is Manvantara? One day of Brahma. And some one day of Brahma, Shiva may have supreme power. In that day, for example, this example was given by one devotee in some lecture, that just like father and child, they are supreme. Who is more important, father or child? Father, right? But sometimes we see father is walking down, especially it is given in the marriage example, that sometimes one who is getting married, he will sit on the horse and go, and others are walking. The one who is sitting on the horse is son, but his father will be walking down. So by seeing this, one can say, this son is more important, father is not important. But in reality, that is for one day. If somebody says only that portion of their life and say, no, you see, here you can see I have a photo also, son is more important. So one is tattva, what is complete understanding of the whole universe, and another is rasa. Like sometimes Krishna is definitely supreme, but sometimes he acts as a henpecked husband. That means he is fearful of his wives. In tattva, Krishna is supreme. How the wives of Krishna also have come about? They are a part and parcel of Krishna. How can Krishna be? Or Krishna sometimes he looks like he is afraid of Mother Yashoda. Right? So this is rasa. Okay. Similarly, sometimes Krishna wants to glorify Shiva, he will give the position. And in reality also, Shiva is not an ordinary living entity. He is almost Vishnu Tattva, but not Vishnu Tattva. So almost means sometimes it looks like he is Vishnu or he is superior to Vishnu. Or even Shakti in that sense. So Shakti is all the potency of creation, maintenance and dissolution is done by one potency, that is Adi Shakti. And Adi Shakti is expansion of Srimati Radharani, and Srimati Radharani is expansion of Krishna. You see? So this is rasa and this is tattva. So one should not get bewildered by this. So we'll stop here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Go Premanandi.